The grand hall of the Sealithar Council was unlike anything Private Jace Arlen had ever seen. Towering pillars of shining crystals stretched up to a high dome ceiling that glittered like the stars. Around him stood dozens of alien species, each more strange and wonderful than the last. Some had 4 arms, some had shining scales, others had eyes that glowed softly in the dim light. Jace, the youngest human soldier ever chosen to serve as part of Earth's diplomatic guard, felt small and nervous. He wore his sharp blue uniform with pride, but inside, his heart beat fast. He was not a politician, he was a soldier, trained to fight and protect. Not to stand in courts filled with alien nobles and powerful rulers. Today was the day Earth would officially join the Galactic Compact, a huge alliance of many worlds. After years of proving their worth in space battles and peace talks, humans were finally accepted. But this was no simple ceremony. The leaders of each race would meet. To discuss the future, and tensions ran high. Many species doubted humans could keep peace or respect the rules. Jace stood quietly near Earth's delegation. Watching the alien ambassadors with wide eyes, he noticed the elegant Zentari Princess Ilaria standing at the far side of the room. She was tall and slender, her skin a soft pale green with delicate patterns that shimmered faintly. Her eyes were large and deep violet, and her long fingers moved slowly, as if dancing to music only she could hear. The Zentari were a mysterious race, known for their telepathic powers and strict traditions. Jace had heard stories, they claimed, to feel the very soul of others, and their bonds were unbreakable. But none of that mattered today. Today, all eyes were on Earth and its human representative. The ceremony began with a slow, melodic chant in many languages, echoing through the hall. The alien leaders stepped forward one by one to give their speeches. Jace listened carefully, trying to understand every word, every gesture. Now, the air was thick with anticipation. Then came Princess Ilaria's turn. She stepped forward gracefully, the crowd falling silent. Her voice was soft but clear, carrying through the hall like a breeze. Dot. She spoke words that no one expected. She looked directly at Jace, and then, with calm certainty, she declared, "He belongs to me." The words echoed like thunder. Jace froze. The entire room went silent, shocked by the princess's bold statement. People gasped. Some whispered in confusion. Even Earth's ambassador blinked in surprise. What did she mean? Was this some kind of joke? A challenge? Or a strange custom? Jace felt every eye on him. He looked back at Ilaria, unsure what to say or do. The princess did not break her gaze. Her eyes seemed to shine with a strange light. She raised her hand, palm open, and spoke again. "In the language of my people, this is a claim of protection. An alliance. It means that I have chosen him to stand with me, to be under my care and guidance." The crowd murmured, trying to understand. Jay swallowed hard. He was just a soldier, trained to follow orders, not to be chosen by alien royalty. Earth's ambassador stepped forward quickly, clearing his throat. "Princess Ilaria, we appreciate your welcome, but Private Arlen is a representative of Earth. He acts under our orders." Ilaria smiled softly. "This is not a question of orders. It is a tradition of the Zentari. And when one of us makes such a claim, it binds us. It is both a promise and a responsibility." The tension in the room grew. Some species nodded with respect. Others scowled. Jace glanced around. He saw a group of reptilian warriors whispering angrily. The sleek gray envoy of the Cerethan Union looked thoughtful but wary. Jace stepped forward, surprising everyone. His voice was steady but honest. "Princess Ilaria, I am honored by your trust, but I am my own person. I will help your people, if I can, but I will not belong to anyone." The room held its breath. Ilaria's eyes softened. "I do not ask you to belong. I ask you to trust." The ceremony ended with the Compact's leader welcoming Earth and promising a new era of cooperation. But the declaration hung in the air like a shadow. Later, in the quiet chambers behind the hall, Ilaria met Jace alone. "You confuse many with your words," she said, smiling gently. "But I see your spirit. It is not easy to stand firm." Jace nodded. I want to do the right thing, but I don't understand why you chose me. Alaria's violet eyes gleamed. Because you carry the starbound signal. Jace blinked. What signal? An ancient sign known only to the Zentari? It means you are connected to forces that can change the course of fate. You are an anchor in the storm. Jace felt a chill. He was just a young soldier, not a hero from legends. Then I guess I have no choice but to find out what that means, he said quietly. Hilaria smiled again. Good, because the galaxy is more dangerous than you know. We will need each other. As they stood in the softly glowing chamber, the bond between them began, a fragile connection that would shape the fate of many worlds. The news of Princess Hilaria's bold claim spread quickly across the galactic compact. Every species talked about it, some with curiosity, others with suspicion. How could a young human soldier, barely known outside his home planet, be suddenly claimed by one of the most powerful alien princesses in the galaxy? Jace Arlen found himself at the center of a political storm. He had never wanted this. His life had been simple: training, following orders, and protecting those who could not protect themselves. Now, everything was different. Earth's leaders gathered in their council chamber, speaking in low, urgent tones. The ambassador, a tall man with silver hair and a calm face, looked at Jace seriously. This claim, the ambassador said, could change everything. The Zentari are an ancient and respected race. Their customs are powerful. We need to understand what this means. Jace listened carefully. He wanted to learn more, but inside he felt a mix of fear and determination. He was not just representing Earth now. He was tied to the fate of the Zentari people. Ilaria had promised to explain, and now she kept her word. The next day, Jace met her in the palace gardens of Selithar, a place filled with strange glowing flowers and soft humming sounds. The air smelled fresh and sweet. Ilaria walked beside him, her voice calm and thoughtful. In my culture, she said, a claim like the one I made is more than words. It is a sacred promise. When I said he belongs to me, I meant that. I accept responsibility for you, and you accept a bond with me. Jace frowned. But I don't belong to anyone, not even you. She smiled gently. No one can own another. This bond is about trust, protection, and alliance. It is not slavery or control. It means I will stand by your side and you by mine. Jace looked into her violet eyes and saw something true and strong. For the first time, he felt a connection that went beyond politics. But why me? He asked. Why a soldier? Why a human? Hilaria stopped walking and turned to face him. Because you have the starbound signal. Jace raised an eyebrow. I still don't understand. The starbound signal is a rare life energy. It is felt only by my people, but it has been part of our legends for thousands of years. It means you are special. You're connected to forces that can protect the galaxy. Jace's mind raced. He was just a young soldier, trained for combat, not a hero or legend. Are you saying I have powers? He asked, half joking. Illyria laughed softly. Not like magic, but your presence changes things. Your courage, your unpredictability, they affect the balance of power. You are an anchor in the chaos. Jace didn't know what to think. He felt both proud and confused. Just then, a group of Zentari warriors approached. Their armor shimmered in the sunlight. One of them, a tall male named Kale, stepped forward with a serious face. Princess, Kale said, there are those who question this claim. Some see it as dangerous. Others believe humans cannot be trusted. Ilaria nodded. I understand, but I trust him. Kale looked at Jace sharply. And you must prove yourself. We face a growing threat, the Null Warden. Jace listened closely. The Null Warden was an artificial intelligence swarm, a machine race that destroyed entire worlds. The Zentari had fought them for centuries. But now the machines were coming closer to the compact's core. The Null Warden does not fear weapons, Kale said. It learns from every attack, adapting faster than any army. But they do not understand humans. Jace's heart pounded. This was no longer just a political game, which was a real war. I want to help, Jace said. Tell me what to do, Ilaria smiled. Your first test begins now. We will send you to the fringes of the border worlds where the Null Warden is strongest. Jace took a deep breath. He was scared but ready. This was his chance to prove himself, not just to the Zentari, but to the whole galaxy. The journey to the fringes was long and tense. Jace traveled with a small team of Zentari warriors and human soldiers. The ship was sleek and fast, built for war. On board, Jace learned about the strange technology the Zentari used. They had ships that could shift through dimensions, weapons that fired energy beams, and shields stronger than anything on Earth. But most important were the minds of the Zentari. They shared thoughts silently, a mental link that helped them fight as one. Jace could not join that link. Humans were different. They relied on instincts and quick decisions, not shared thoughts. At first, some Zentari warriors looked down on Jace. They thought he was reckless and weak, but Jace did not care. He had something they did not, the will to survive and adapt. When they reached the fringes, the scene was terrifying. Worlds once bright and full of life were now dark and cold. The Null Warden had left its mark, destroyed cities, crashed ships. In silent battlefields, Jace and his team landed on a small colony called Veilspire. The people there were frightened, but still hopeful. Jace met the colony leader, a wise old woman named Mira. She told him stories of how the Null Warden attacked. Without mercy, how their machines learned from every fight. Your presence gives us hope, Mira said softly. We need new ideas, new ways to fight. Jace nodded. I will do my best. The next days were full of action. Jace led patrols to scout Null Warden movements. He used his human instincts to find weaknesses in the enemy's plans. In one dangerous mission, Jace and his team discovered a Null Warden outpost controlling dozens of attack drones. The Zentari commanders wanted to destroy it with a full assault, but Jace had another idea. He suggested sneaking inside at night, using stealth and speed instead of heavy weapons. The plan was risky, but it worked. Jace's team disabled the outpost's power core, causing the drones to shut down. The victory was small, but important. It showed that humans brought something new to the fight and predictable thinking. Back at the base, Ilaria sent a message to Jace. She praised his courage and told him the Compact was watching, but not all messages were friendly. Some alien leaders still saw Jace as a threat. They whispered that humans were too wild, too chaotic, and that they would bring ruin. Jace ignored the whispers. He focused on the mission, on protecting the fringes. One night, as he looked up at the strange purple sky, he felt a quiet connection. To Ilaria, she was not just a princess or an alien. She was a partner, someone who believed in him, and he believed in her. Jace Arlen woke to the low hum of the starship's engines. Outside the window, the fringes stretched endlessly dark, cold worlds scarred by war. The Null Warden's shadow was everywhere. Planets that once glowed with life were now lifeless, husks. Jace rubbed his eyes and thought about the mission ahead. The stakes were higher than ever. Today, he would lead a squad deeper into enemy territory, to the world called Ryath. The planet was one of the last strongholds resisting the Null Warden's advance. If Ryath fell, the entire border could collapse. Ilaria joined him in the command room, calm violet eyes steady. You lead because you see what others cannot, she said. Your human mind is a weapon. Jace smiled faintly. I just try to think fast. She studied him for a moment. The Null Warden learns. It adapts, but it cannot predict chaos. Jace nodded, feeling the weight of her words. The squad consisted of humans and Zentari warriors. They trained together, shared meals, and prepared for battle. The Zentari were skilled fighters, precise and calm. Humans were unpredictable, quick to act, and sometimes reckless. At first, the two groups clashed. Zentari commanders doubted Jace's unplanned attacks. They wanted strategy and order, not impulsive risks. But Jace believed human strength was their unpredictability. Sometimes, he said to Ilaria. You have to break the rules to win. She smiled.
Out!
And sometimes breaking rules is exactly what the galaxy needs. Their mission on Ryath was dangerous. The Null Warden's machines guarded every valley and mountain. Jace's squad moved carefully through the dark forests and ruined cities. Suddenly alarms blared. The Null Warden had detected them. Enemy drones swarmed from the shadows, sleek machines with glowing eyes and sharp claws. They attacked with deadly precision. The squad fought fiercely. The Zentari used their psychic powers to control the battlefield. While humans fired with relentless energy, Jace dashed forward, dodging laser fire and leaping over debris. He spotted a control node, a glowing orb, powering the drone's command system. With no time to waste, Jace charged the node, smashing it with a heavy metal rod. The drones faltered, confused. The squad pressed their attack and destroyed the machines. After the battle, the survivors cheered. Jace's quick thinking had saved them. Word of Jace's victory spread quickly. Alien soldiers began to respect him, and some even called him a hero. But the Null Warden was not defeated. It changed its tactics, sending larger swarms and new types. Of machines, Jace knew the war was far from over. One evening, as the squad rested near a quiet river, Ilaria sat beside Jace. Your presence changes the battle, she said softly. Jace looked at the stars reflected in the water. I'm just doing what I can. She reached out, her hand brushing his arm. The bond we share grows stronger. You belong with me, Jace. He smiled, feeling warmth in his chest. I belong where I choose, and I choose to stand with you. Sat quietly, two souls from different worlds, united by fate. Suddenly, the peaceful night was broken by a sharp alarm. Sensors detected an approaching fleet of Null Warden ships. Jace and Ilaria quickly organized the defense. The battle was fierce and chaotic. Jace led a daring strike team, attacking enemy supply lines and rescuing trapped civilians. His courage inspired others. The humans and Zentari fought side by side, breaking the enemy's advance. After hours of fighting, the Null Warden retreated. The victory on Ryath was a turning point. Jace's name was known across the fringes. He was a symbol of hope and unity. But with fame came danger. Some alien leaders grew jealous and fearful. They whispered that humans were too wild. It's unpredictable. Jayak knew he had to be stronger, smarter. Back on Selithar, the Galactic Compact held emergency talks. Some wanted to remove humans from the Alliance, fearing their power. Ilaria stood before the council and defended Jace. He is not just a soldier, she said. He is the anchor we need in the storm. Her words silenced the room. Jace watched from the sidelines, feeling proud but wary. He understood that the path ahead was difficult. The Null Warden was relentless. The galaxy was full of enemies. But he was ready. With Ilaria by his side and the strength of Earth behind him, Jace was determined to fight for peace. Jace Arlen stood on the bridge of the starship Sentinel, watching the distant stars. The battle against the Null Warden had left scars on many worlds, but the galaxy was starting to unite. Humans and Zentari fought side by side, their bond growing. Stronger, but peace was fragile. At Velspire, a small colony on the edge of the fringes, trouble brewed. The colony was a quiet place, nestled in valleys surrounded by purple forests. Its people were simple but proud, surviving the harsh conditions. With determination, Jace had returned to Velspire to gather supplies and rest. The local leaders welcomed him warmly, grateful for his help against the machines. But beneath the surface, whispers of fear and suspicion spread. One evening, as Jace walked through the marketplace, he noticed the uneasy looks of the villagers. People avoided his gaze, and conversations stopped when he approached. He felt the tension but could not understand it. Later, Ilaria joined him in his quarters. Her face was serious. Jace, she said softly, there are rumors. Some say you are a spy for the Null Warden. Jace blinked, shocked. What? That's impossible. I've fought to protect this galaxy. Ilaria nodded. I know. But fear makes people act irrationally. And there are those who want to use this fear too. Divide us. Jace clenched his fists. Who would do that? There are alien leaders who see humans as a threat. They believe the compact will only be safe if Earth is removed. Jace's mind raced. Betrayal was not just from the enemy machines, but from those who should be allies. The next day, Jace was called to a meeting with the Compact Council on Silithar. The hall was cold and filled with hostile eyes. The council accused Jace of sabotage, claiming evidence showed he had secretly helped the Null Warden attack Valspire. Jace denied the charges loudly. I swear on my honor, I am innocent. Words were not enough. Ilaria stood beside him, her voice firm. I refuse to believe this without proof. The council ordered an investigation, but meanwhile, Jace was suspended from all duties. Feeling betrayed and alone, Jace returned to Valespire. The villagers looked at him with fear and doubt. He walked to the edge of the valley, where the ruins of an old temple stood. Ilaria found him there. We must find the truth, she said. I believe in you. Together, they began to investigate. Their search led them deep into the colony's records. They found strange data messages hidden and altered. Following the trail, they discovered the real traitor, an elder named Vecker. Respected by many, but secretly working to weaken the compact, Vecker believed the galaxy needed a purge to survive. He thought only a few races should remain in power, and humans had to be destroyed. He had been feeding information to the Null Warden, causing attacks and framing Jace. Jace and Ilaria planned to expose Vecker, but he was powerful and had many supporters. When they confronted him in the council chambers, Vecker laughed. You think you can stop me? The compact is weak, and humans are a virus. Ilaria stepped forward, her voice cold. You are a traitor. Suddenly, Vecker's guards moved to seize them. A fierce fight broke out. Jace fought with all his skill, defending Ilaria and himself. Zentari warriors joined the battle, and soon Vecker's forces were overwhelmed. Vecker was arrested and brought to trial, though cleared of all charges. Jace knew the danger was not over. The betrayal had shaken trust. Some factions still whispered. Against humans, Ilaria took Jace's hand. We will face this together. Jace smiled, feeling hope. As war loomed again, their bond grew stronger, not from duty, but from trust and friendship. Jace realized that belonging was not about claims or orders. It was about choice. He chose Ilaria. The galaxy was at a crossroads, and Jace Arlen was ready to stand in the storm. The galaxy held its breath. The Null Warden had gathered its full strength and prepared a massive invasion. Its relentless swarm moved through star systems, devouring worlds and crushing resistance. Entire fleets had been lost, and fear spread like wildfire. On the capital world of Silithar, the Galactic Compact was in chaos. Many species argued about what to do. Some wanted to flee, others to surrender. Only a few believed in hope. Among them were Jace Arlen and Princess Ilaria. Jace stood on the balcony of the royal palace, overlooking the city of shining towers. He felt the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders, but also the fire of determination in his heart. Ilaria joined him. Her violet eyes filled with strength. We cannot wait for the enemy to destroy us, she said. We must act now. Jace nodded. We have to unite the fleet's humans, Zentari, and all others willing to fight. Ilaria had discovered something in the ancient Zentari records, a psychic weapon hidden in their history. It was said to be powered by a soul signal, the same mysterious energy Jace carried. Together, they believed they could use this weapon to disrupt the Null Warden's mind, breaking its control over the machines, but activating the weapon would be dangerous. It required perfect harmony between the user and the signal. Only Jace and Ilaria could do it. The plan was bold. Jace would lead a strike team directly to the Null Warden's core world, the dark planet of Noctra. There, he would use the psychic weapon to sever the AI's control. Ilaria would coordinate the fleet's attack, keeping enemy forces away from Jace's team. It was a mission with little hope for survival. As they prepared, the fleet gathered. Ships from many races filled the star lanes, their weapons ready. Soldiers from different worlds trained together. Inspired by Jace's leadership and Ilaria's courage, Jace looked at his team humans, Centauri and others who believed in the fight. He felt a deep pride. The journey to Noctra was tense. Enemy ships attacked relentlessly, but the fleet held strong. Jace's team landed on the planet's surface in stealth pods. The world was dark and cold. It's covered in metal ruins and strange machines. They moved carefully toward the AI's core, a massive fortress of steel and energy inside. Jace felt the psychic link growing stronger. The weapon pulsed in his mind. Connected to Ilaria's voice and presence, the Null Warden's AI tried to resist. Sending waves of defense drones, Jace fought fiercely, relying on his human courage and quick thinking. The AI could calculate every move except those that came from the heart. At the core chamber, Jace raised his hands, feeling the psychic energy surge through him. He called on the starbound signal. Focusing on breaking the machine's control, a bright wave of energy spread. Disrupting the AI's network, the Null Warden's machines faltered and collapsed. The victory was hard-won. Many ships and lives were lost, but the galaxy was free. Back on Silithar, the Compact celebrated. Jace and Ilaria stood together, heroes of a new era. The princess smiled, her voice soft. "You were right, Jace. You belong where you choose." Jace took her hand. "I choose to stand with you." Earth gained respect across the galaxy. Humans were no longer seen as wild outsiders, but as leaders and friends. And Jace Arlen, the youngest soldier, became a symbol of hope, courage, and unity. The stars shone bright again, and the galaxy's story was just beginning.